Hello class, today is Wednesday the 13th, and we're going to be reviewing what do we know about comparing fractions with the same denominators. And then we're going to compare fractions with different denominators. But first, we're going to be comparing fractions with the same denominators. So here we see 1/7, and here we see 4/7. We both see 7 as the denominator. Are they the same? Yes, the denominators are the same. They both are 7. So when the denominators are the same, we can just compare the numerators, right? We can see which one is bigger or which one is smaller. Here we have 1, here we have 4, here we have 1, here we have 4. Which one is bigger, 1 or 4? 1 or 4? Well, we know that 4 is bigger, so we have to write it like this. The 4 is bigger. So we can say 4/7 is bigger than 1/7. Again, 4/7 is bigger than 1/7. Let's take a look at these two fractions. What do we know about comparing the same denominators again? So here we have 6/8 and here we have 5/8. So what do we see? These both have the same denominator. They both end with 8, 8, 8, 8. So we don't have to look at the denominator. We're going to look at the numerator, the number on top. So which is bigger, 6 or 5? 6 or 5? 6 is bigger, right? So we have to write it like this. So that's how we'll write when we compare fractions. So the most important part about comparing fractions with the same denominators, we have to look at the denominator, make sure it's the same. Then we compare the numerators. All right, let's move on to something else today. So how do we compare fractions with different denominators? So that's our goal today, comparing fractions with different denominators. Comparing fractions with different denominators. So here we have 1/3 and here we have 1/6. But we cannot compare this time, right? They have different denominators. So what we have to do is we have to turn this 3 into a 6. So we're going to turn this 1/3 into the same denominator. So we already know how to convert fractions, remember? So we want to turn 1/3 into an equal fraction, right? So this would be something over 6. What do we have to do? We have to do times 2. So if we do times 2 to the denominator, we have to do times 2 to the numerator. So 2 times 1, 2 times 3, 2 times 1 is 2. So here we see 1/3 is the same as 2/6 when we convert 1/3 into 2/6, because this is an equal fraction. These are equivalent, right? So now we can compare the fractions, right? We can compare the fractions easily. So we can say that 2/6, and then we'll compare it with 1/6. So these are equal, right? 1/3 and 2/6. So now we can compare it. They both have 6 as the denominator. 6 as the denominator. So we're going to look at the numerator. We see 2 and 1. Which one is bigger? The 2, of course, right? The 2 is bigger. So which one are we going to write it? We're going to say 2/6 is bigger than 1/6. Right? Just like that. We're just going to write it like that. So 2/6 is bigger than 1/6. Or we can say 1/3 is bigger than 1/6. So we can write it also just like that. Because when we convert 1/3, 1/3 is the same as 2/6. So 1/3 is bigger than 1/6. Let's turn our books to page 75. Let's open our books to page 75, page 75 in our math books. All right, so today we're going to be comparing fractions with different denominators. Comparing fractions with different denominators. So let's take a look and read together. When comparing fractions with denominators that are multiples of each other, make the denominators equal. Make the denominators equal. Then compare the numerators. The fraction with greater numerator is the greater fraction. The fraction with greater numerator is the greater fraction. So here it says compare 3/4 and 5/8. So to turn 3/4 into something eighths, we have to turn it to the same to compare. So 3/4 is the same as 6/8. Right? Here we can see their work. 3/4 equals, right? We have to times 2, the bottom. So whatever we multiply the top and the bottom have to be the same. So we times 2 to the top, times 2 to the bottom to equal 8. So we get 6/8. So 6/8 is the same as 3/4. So is 6/8 bigger than 5/8? Yes, it is. So that means 3/4 is bigger than 5/8. So here we're going to write greater than or less than or equals in each circle to make the statement true. So we want it correct, right? So we want to say, write either of these three things. What can we make it true, correct, right? So number 1, we're going to look at 1/2 and 1/4. 1/2 and 1/4. Let's take a look at number 1. Let me zoom in closer. Took that 1/2 and 1/4. So what do we have to do? 2 and 4 are not the same. 2 and 4 are not the same. So what do I have to do to turn 1/2 into something over 4? What do I have to do? Times 2, you're right. Times 2, and then the top, what do I have to do? Times 2 as well. So 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. So is 2/4 bigger or smaller or equal to 1/4? What do we think? What can we look at? Right? We're looking at number 1, right? So we can say that 2/4 is bigger, right? 2/4 is bigger. So we can just write it like this. 2/4 is bigger than 1/4. So that means 1/2 is bigger than 1/4. Right? 1/2 is bigger than 1/4. All right, let's take a look at number 2. Number 2. Let me erase this. Number 2. 2/3 is what compared to 6/9? So we have to turn this 3 into a 9. This 3 into a 9. Let's turn 2/3 into something 9s. 2/3 is equal to something 9. All right, how do we do it? What do we have to do? 3 times what equals 9? 3 times 3 equals 9. 2 times 3 as well, right? Times 3 on the bottom, times 3 on the top, times 3 on the bottom, times 3 on the top. So 2 times 3 is equal to 6. So 6/9 compared to 6/9 is equal to 6/9, right? Because 6/9 is equal to 6/9, we can write, because these are the same fraction, right? We can see same exact fraction. So we're just going to write equal for this one. Very good. That's for number 2. We're going to be writing that. Now let's look at number 3. Let me erase this. Number 3. 4/5 compared to 8/15. 4/5 compared to 8/15. We have to turn this 5 into 15. This 5 into 15. So let's write that out. 4/5 compared to, so we have to turn this into something 15. So what do we have to do? 5 times what equals 15? 5 times what equals 15? 5 times 3 equals 15. 4 times 3, right, as well. So 4 times 3 is equal to 12. So 12 over 15 is what compared to 8 over 15. Which one's bigger? Which one's smaller? Right? These are the same denominator now. 12 is bigger, right? 12 is bigger than 8. 12 is bigger than 8. So we can just write like this. So that means 4/5 is bigger than 8/15. All right, let's keep going on. Let's take a look at number 4. Number 4. Let me erase this work here. Number 4. Number 4. Here we have 5/6. 5/6 and 29/30. 29/30. So we have to turn 6 into 30. 6 into 30. So let's write that down. 5/6. We want to write something over 30. What do we do? How do we turn it? 6 into 30. 6 times what equals 30? 6 times 5 equals 30. 6 times 5 equals 30. So 5 times 5. Because if we multiply bottom by 5, we have to multiply the top by 5. So 5 times 5 is 25. So 25 over 30 compared to 29 over 30. Which one is bigger? Which one is smaller? 25th over 30? 25/30ths or 29/30ths? Which one is bigger? Which one is smaller? 29/30ths is bigger. We see 29 is bigger than 25. 29 is bigger than 25. So here's what we can write, like this way. We're going to write it like this. So 29 is bigger than 25. 29/30ths is bigger than 25/30ths. So here we can write it like this. 29/30ths is bigger than 5/6. So let's take a look at number 5. Let me erase this work. All right, number 5. Here we have 9/20ths and 7/10ths. 9/20ths and 7/10ths. We need to turn this 10 into 20. This 10 into 20. So we're going to look at 7/10ths is equal to something over 20. What do we have to do? 10 times what equals 20? 10 times 2 equals 20. We have to multiply the top by 2 as well. If we multiply the bottom, 7 times 2. So 7 times 2 is 14. So here we have 9 over 20 compared to 14 over 20. Which one is bigger? Which one is smaller, right? Same denominator. The 14 is bigger than the 9. The 14 is bigger than the 9. So here's what we can write. Like that, right? 14/20 is bigger than 9/20. So that means 7/10 is bigger than 9/20. So we're going to write that down as well.